Alright, before I get to Impact, there was something that I wanted to mention in the Hard Justice review, but it slipped my mind for some reason. Debuting at Hard Justice as well as Impact last week, there were several new entrance themes, or at least remixed entrance themes for Roxy, Tracy, Brooks, and the Beautiful People. And all of them I thought were improvements over the previous ones. Yeah, as I've said before, TNA's entrance themes have been pretty hit and miss. And they've improved a little bit in this area, but they continue to be hit and miss a lot of the time. So it's nice to know that while they still have a ways to go, this is at least an issue that TNA is working on. Anyway, Impact. All good matches and some interesting developments on this show. I liked Impact a lot this week. First and foremost, I like where they're going with the Sting angle. This is a big improvement over the way they were doing it last month, which I did not care for. As I said previously, there was, and then it was baseball bats just appearing all over the place and everyone just assuming that Sting was behind the whole thing. This is a much better way to go about it. Now Sting is being portrayed as a guy who's trying to do what he thinks is right, but he's being vilified for it because his efforts to do the right thing are leading him to engage in what would appear to the casual viewer to be quote-unquote heelish behavior. So Sting tries to keep the peace by stopping Joe, by stopping AJ from going too far and causing serious injury to Booker T and Kurt Angle, and the result is he gets booed for it. But at the same time, I think they're doing a really good job of leaving Sting's true motives just mysterious enough to keep people guessing what's really going on inside his head. And this is a much more logical and realistic way for this storyline to go, so that's a big step up from last month. Plus, they teased the Jeff Jarrett return again. Looks like he's going to be a babyface when he comes back. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him feud with Sting though, because they teased that might be happening. I don't want to see that. I think that would just be a huge waste of both guys. I think they should be working with the young talent to help elevate them. So hopefully they won't go that route. Also, I think it's a nice touch that they haven't actually said Jeff Jarrett's name yet. They've teased him with the guitar a couple times, but they haven't said his name, and I like that. It keeps sort of an aura of mystery about the whole thing. Something else I liked about this show was Hernandez versus James Storm. Solid match. Nice to see Hernandez getting a singles push while Homicide's selling the injury. But what really stuck out here was that Hernandez finally got to cut a promo before the match, and you know what? It was good. Hernandez is a good talker. Why did TNA think LAX needed a mouthpiece in Hector Guerrero when both Homicide and Hernandez can cut good promos? I don't know. Moving on, we had Matt Morgan getting attacked by Team 3D with Abyss making the save, and they sort of teased a potential team-up between those two afterwards. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest, because with Tomko now gone, Abyss is really the only big man left on the roster that Matt Morgan can feud with. Unless you count Kevin Nash, which I don't. And I'd rather see Matt Morgan feud with Abyss, but we'll see where that one goes. Also, Matt Morgan cut a promo before the match. I thought this was one of his better promos, actually. Something I've noticed about him, he seems to be better on the mic backstage than he is in front of a crowd. He's more relaxed, and he doesn't talk so fast either, which is a big plus. When he talks in front of a live crowd, he's like a motor mouth. But this shows that he can be a good talker under the right conditions, so I think he'll probably get better with a little practice. Moving on, we had Consequences Creed as the new subject of the Rough Cut. These Rough Cut segments lately have just been awesome. I mean, they just get better and better, in my opinion. I mean, it's nice to see them focus on Creed, too. I mean, he came off like a really humble and likable guy. And I like that he's getting a push, too. I think he's got a lot of potential. I mean, he seems to have a ready-made feud with Abdul Bashir, so hopefully that one will happen. Also, we had Taylor Wilde versus Christy Hemme. Christy Hemme's never going to be Ric Flair in the ring, admittedly, but I thought this was a pretty good showing for her. Of course, the whole thing was really just to set up for Awesome Kong and Gail Kim to come out, but it sets up Gail and Kong in a street fight next week, and that'll be awesome, so tune in for that one. Then we had Team 3D versus Samoa Joe and Kevin Nash, and the match was good. I mean, Nash put in a better performance than usual. And I don't have a problem with seeing Nash in the ring once in a while, as long as it's not in singles matches, for reasons that I've stated before. And after the match, Joe, he flipped out again, and he attacked Devon with a chair. I like what they're doing with Joe here. Him losing his temper in the ring and going off the deep end against his opponents is a lot better than him just getting pissed off and yelling at everyone backstage, which I think is a problem that they ran into recently. And finally, they announced that the main event of No Surrender will be a Fatal 4-Way, which is awesome, because that means that the heavily rumored No Surrender main event of Joe versus Kevin Nash will not be happening after all. And TNA definitely made the right call on that one. I mean, especially seeing as how that pay-per-view will be held in Toronto. I mean, you take a Kevin Nash main event to Smart Mark Town, and the Canadians are going to piss all over that thing. So good move on TNA's part. So, very good show this week. The matches and angles were all good. Everything made sense. My only real complaint was the Karen's Angle interview segment. And, ironically, this had nothing to do with Karen Angle. Karen was just fine this week. The whole point of the interview was apparently to introduce the Beautiful People's new stylist. Here's the problem. The stylist is Kip James. Kip James! Good Lord. Okay, alright, in all seriousness, did the Beautiful People piss in Dixie Carter's coffee or something? Okay, first they get hugely deep pushed for a month, and now this? This makes no sense to me at all. It's like, okay, we're going to take these two women who are one of our biggest proven ratings draws that we have, and we're going to pair them up with the biggest ratings killer on the roster. In what parallel universe does that make sense? Wow. Alright, look. If Kip James is restricted to like backstage vignettes and stuff, then maybe this won't be too bad. But if he starts coming out to the ring with them and being around them on a major basis, I think TNA might have to kiss the Beautiful People's drawing power goodbye. Anyway, aside from that one part, this was a great show. And next week we're going to have Booker T versus Rhino in a qualifying match for the No Surrender main event. We're also going to have Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong in a street fight. Anytime those two are in the ring together is a great thing. So tune in next week. I'll talk to you later.